Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we're going to get started. This is our 10-10-10 call, October 21st. We are so excited to have Darren Higgins with us tonight. I just met him through a chat group called One Plexus, and he was commenting in there about all the amazing things that have been happening in his and his wife's Plexus business. He is gold, and she is senior gold. And so I'm going to let him take it away tonight. Normally on this call, we talk about the products for 10 minutes, have a testimony story for 10 minutes, and talk about the business for 10 minutes. And Darren is going to kind of incorporate all of that into his share tonight. So, Darren, we're so glad to have you with us. Take it away, my friend.
Well, it's good to be here. Nice to see new people. You know, me and my wife both, we help out Plexus people that aren't on our team. The way I see it, the more Plexus I can help y'all sell, the higher the Plexus points get. And I want them to be like worth $5. Uh, but just to start out, my wife had been doing Plexus kind of on and off, and then she got into it about a year ago, and I'd struggled with diabetes for years. And she's like, "Hey, I think this can help you," you know. And so I started taking the triplex. And a month before that, I went to the doctor. My A1C was 8.1, which is not super, super high, but high enough. And I was on metformin and glipizide. And so I took the triplex for a month, and it wasn't long. I wanted to be a guinea pig. So I did not change my diet. I did not get any more exercise than I was already getting. And, I found this stuff was working. My glucose numbers were pushing 300. And after about an hour after a meal for a diabetic, it ought to be like 185-ish. And I was 285. And then your fasting glucose first thing in the morning should be 100 or less. And I was sitting at 185 every morning, no matter what I did. And so I noticed it started coming down a little bit and a little bit. And so, I got to the point where after a month I added some block and balance. And, that did wonders. I quit spiking over 200, and everything just kind of leveled out. And after 2 months of doing that, the triplex, and then a month with the triplex block and balance, went back to the doctor, and it had come down to a 6.7. And, we talked about plexus. They said, "We'll keep on doing it, and we're going to cut your metformin in half." Or no, I'm sorry, my glipizide in half, because the glipizide will mess up your pancreas. And so, I went on. It was another 6 months, and I took other products along the way here and there, but I mainly stayed with the triplex and the block, and I kind of cut back on the balance a little bit, but um, I went here a while back, and it was 5.9, which is basically considered not diabetic, and so I'm off of the glipizide completely and just cruising through life, enjoying it. And along the way, I started taking ease too, because, at my age, I'm 56. I got aches and pains, little arthritis in my hands, tendonitis in my knee. And, and I noticed when that quit hurting, and then along the way, I'm like, I used to use nose spray like several times a day. And one day I was like, I haven't used my nose spray in 3 days, and I still get a little sinus infection occasionally, and I have to use some nose spray, take some medicine, but the the ease basically helped me get rid of my chronic sinus infection. But anyways, we were getting into Plexus, and my wife started putting people under me. I don't know if any of y'all have done that, but just to get an extra paycheck, and I mean, you're doubling your pay, really, because she gets points for everybody under me, and I get points, and I mean, it's a win-win. But like the first month that we joined, she started sharing, and she double ranked, and it would happen to be the double point month for earning points for the cruise. And it wasn't long, and she won the cruise. And about that time, I had taken a little hit at work, and I lost $200 a week pay a month away from Christmas. And I'm worried how we're going to do this. I'm just like, oh Lord, please, what am I going to do? And so we managed to get through Christmas, and she earned a $400 cabin credit, and I'm like, well, that'll help out a little bit. And so I kept looking at the price of airline tickets, and they kept going up. And this was like middle of January. We had to buy tickets, and I looked, and they were like $740 for both of us round trip Fort Lauderdale. And we had the money, but it was on two separate cards, and the airline wouldn't let us pay that way. So I'm like, oh Lord, Lord, by the time Friday rolls around, they're going to be $100 more. And so God decided to use this whole plexus thing to teach me how to trust in Him more. Because the very next day, she got a check, $740 for the airline tickets. The next day, she got a check from Plexus for $750. So we bought them airline tickets. And then, you know, we're still struggling. I mean, we we've been living together for over a couple years, and she's got four kids. I've got four kids. We got what, one, two, three, four, five of them living with us. Plus, when we started out, she was taking care of her disabled cousin, mentally, physically disabled. Right now, we've got my mentally and physically disabled brother taking care of him. We spent our lives taking care of people, and that's one of the things in Plexus that you you're really going to do good in the business if you like taking care of people. Huh? Sorry. Speaking of kids, they're always wanting something. But um, so anyways, we we managed to get the airline tickets, and then the Saturday before we left on the cruise, we got married, and we decided to make the cruise our honeymoon. And neither one of us ever been on an airplane, never been on a boat bigger than a bass boat. And so we go on this cruise, and we just had the time of our lives. And we had met a couple people online before the cruise, and they were having, and we were both. I'm a First Baptist deacon. My wife's a Pentecostal, so we're basically Baptist-costals. We go to two different churches, but we wanted to get, because she had lived a lot of years in a narcissistic relationship, and I had too, and we just felt like God was preparing us our whole lives to meet each other. So we got rebaptized together, same time, on the beach in the Bahamas, in Nassau. And so we got back from the cruise, and we were just loving life, living our best life. And the business kind of went downhill a little bit. You know, it comes and goes. I'm not sure if y'all have heard the phrase, but right off the bat, one of our upline told us that the people you start with won't be the people you finish with. And that was true. We've got just a small handful of people that first started. But, anyways, we went to convention, had a had a blast at convention, and we were just loving this Plexus life. And then we're rolling along. September rolls along, and we happen to get a couple of good people under me, and we were trying to get me to icon because I was closer to being icon than she was. And along the way, which I still haven't made icon yet, but along the way I earned silver star. And so in January, Plexus gonna fly me and the wife out to the headquarters and wine and dine us and put us up in a spa, and we're just gonna have a good old time. Hopefully February in Cancun, and January in Scottsdale. And yeah, we just love what Plexus has done for us. And we're once you reach gold, you're you're at that point where you're making enough money to pay for your products and a little bit more. And senior gold just amps it up a little bit more. And I mean, we're between me and her, we're bringing in 1,200 to 1,500 extra a month for really not doing a whole lot. And I just want to, before I finish off, I just want to talk a little bit about the business side of it. And there's three things. I call it CCG. And the first C is for consistency, and it's for consistency in you doing your product. Because if you're not doing your product, then you're not doing justice to your customers. And if you can't love yourself, how can you expect somebody else to love you? So you got to be consistent in your product so that your customers and your prospects are looking every day online and they're seeing that you're changing, that you're losing weight, or you look a lot better, or you seem to have a lot more energy. And so consistency with the products on your end. Then the second C is consistency again. And that is consistency on putting yourself out there, consistency on checking on people, not only your downline, but keep checking on people you sent messages to, because we've had people this last month in the month of September when we really needed them that we had been talking to for almost a year that just out of the blue decided they were going to take that hook, and we set the hook, and we got them in. And then the the last word, the G, stands for God. I really believe that if you make God your CEO, he will take you places you never dreamed of going. And he's been good to us in this business. We've prayed numerous times for him to show us favor and bring us customers. And in the month of September, he some people call it luck, but we were fortunate that God favored us enough to give us about four people that really really wanted to work the business. And I mean, y'all know as well as I do that if if you want to profit money wise from this business, you've got to have some business builders underneath you. And that's one of the things I love most about this business is, you could have somebody underneath you doing better than you are. And that's what negates that whoever's above you is going to be making more money than you. And you just got to be consistent in everything you do. And like I said, make God your CEO. But I guess that's all I've got for tonight. If anybody's got any questions, I can answer questions or whatever.
Thank you so much, Darren. This was so
You're welcome.
good. And it just really has encouraged me as I've thought about your testimony today, because Darren and I messaged back and forth. He shared his story with me in voice message, and I asked him if he would come share here. And again, so grateful for the time you've taken to share tonight with our team. And as I thought about your testimony, it really answered the question, is plexus saturated? Because you guys have done this in the last year of time. You've gone senior gold your wife and gold you, and you developed 7 new silvers last month. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that's what helped you. That is Silver Star is the business inside Plexus, the brand ambassador that developed the most new silvers in a month. And so that's the
Um,
requirement to be invited to the company to come and tour and be flown out there. And
and
it's quite an
I
honor
want to
to
add
run
one
that.
more thing.
Yeah,
Can I add one more thing?
you sure can, Darren.
Um, you know, you you can't get discouraged when you have the down seasons because I was looking through our genealogy the other day, and if everybody that has purchased Plexus from us in this last year was still consistent on purchasing their products, me and my wife both would be Ruby, you know. So,
Hmm.
you just can't get discouraged because you get four people and two people drop off the next month. You
Hmm.
know, you're you might pick up four or five more people that next month, and then they go for 2 or 3 months, and one of them drops off, and just don't let yourself get discouraged. It's it's all part of the learning process.
Hmm. And that's true whether you're talking about prospecting and people joining, or those who have already ordered from you and them staying with you. Kyle Rainey, some of us are in his Anthem Academy and train with him. And he was talking recently, maybe last week, on our group coaching session about, you know, last month was very slow for him personally recruiting, and he still works every day, sends out 10 messages a day. And Plexus ask, and then the beginning of the month, before like the if within the first 2 weeks, he signed 7 up. That sounds funny. He signed up 7. And so sometimes you're going to have a month where you sponsor 1 or 2 and you're like, is this working? What am I doing wrong? But it's just that consistency, like you said, Darren, of if you stay consistent, you just keep doing your daily action, your daily IPA, then the results catch up. They have to catch, it catches up. So that's really encouraging. I love your CCG. Does anybody have any questions for Darren or comments you want to make? Feel free to unmute. All
Darren,
right.
I'm sorry, I got here late. You do this with your wife, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'm just making sure because I've got someone on here that is probably listening to that part.
Yeah, that's
So
exciting. I love that they're doing it together.
yeah,
And
me
and
too.
I we kind of tag team a little bit, and we when we first started out, and she was just putting people under me just for the bonus money, and but she would be the one reaching out and talking to people mostly, and my job was to handle the business end of it and the research.
Mm,
And so I spent a lot of time researching the products, just going through and Darlene, on that one plexus, there's always somebody on there every day. What's this and what's that, and you can point them to the Plexus Go app, which I love. It's got a lot of good info on there. And but we just keep on telling them about the products, and that's what I did. I learned about the products, and then she would tell me, oh, well, so and so's having trouble with this and having trouble with that. And so I would go research. I'll be like, yeah, they need to be taking this and taking that. And so we kind of did that, and then I kind of got into posting a little bit. I haven't done a whole lot of reaching out to people,
mhm,
other than just common social media posts. And but it's brought a few people in,
mhm,
and I just kind of sometimes hand them off to her,
mhm.
and she'll be kind of handing them back to me on tell them what they need to get for this and that, and it's just we we've had several people tell us we make a great team, and I mean, to toot my
Yeah,
own
it's
horn.
great to have yes, and that's why I asked because it's great to have a husband-wife team that you tag teaming with.
Mhm.
I'm directly under Coach and Patty, and so if you don't like, if you just build under one person though, and you don't have your outside leg, then you get in trouble. So I like the way you guys are doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And it means so much to have a husband that's supportive rather than
Hmm.
complaining in the background, complaining about this
yeah,
and that in the background, to have a husband that she could say, "Hey, will you look this up and figure this out?"
Right,
That's I mean, it's more than 2x to have y'all working together. That's a 10x
right.
thing. There's a book that Jessica Phillips, who's a diamond in plexus, recommended at convention, not this year, but last year. And it's 10x is easier than 2x. And our team read that book together and did a book study of it, Babette included. And that principle of you helping your wife is that's huge. It's even if you're not, even if you have a certain job and she has a certain job, it still helps. And that's part of us working together as a team, y'all, is when we come together on calls like this, we are pulling the same way. I think about the two oxen that pull together. They can individually pull about 2,000 pounds, but together it's not 4,000, it's 10,000. And that is another example of 10x. And so when we come together and bring our talents, our strengths together as a team, that is us 10xing. So it doesn't always have to be your spouse, it can be your teammates as well. So thank you for sharing that, Darren, and your transparency. It's
And Darlene, tell him
really
also it
encouraging.
could be the sideline. Like you're such a great support to so many people, Darlene, on so many teams.
Well,
Like,
we get together in the morning. We have a 6:30 a.m. Central, 7:30 a.m. Eastern IPA power hour we do. And I didn't start it. It was started by somebody else, and then somebody took it over from her and did it a long time, and then I took it over from her. But it's been going on for about 4 years. And it's so encouraging as sidelines to get together, work. We pray together every morning. We get on, we share what's working. It's sort of a collaboration opportunity, and then just that accountability of like, I got to get up because I know they're going to be waiting on me, and I want to get my work done, because part of what Wendy Larson said years ago was when she went diamond, she got up early and got her work done, because a lot of the rest of the day ended up being things around her team or her family. A lot of us, some of us work full time jobs. So if we get up early and we can get our work done and at least get a few messages out, a post up, then it's kind of like setting your fishing nets early in the morning before the rest of the day. Then you can go back and check and see who commented, who wants more information. And it's just an encouraging way to work our business together. So I'm thankful
Yeah, and
for that
I
element too.
I don't know how long you've been in that Plexus One family group, but
I'm new to that. I'm
it's
new to that one. I've been
it's
in Sideline Strong a long time,
I've
but this
been
is
on
something
there for
new.
several months, and it just amazed me the number of people on there that are wanting to be ambassadors that are not getting any help at all from their sponsor or their upline. And we have a great team, a great upline. We've got uh, you know, diamonds that are and Jules that are putting Zooms on every other day. Got a morning prayer call and just real good help. And we've got 4 or 5 Jules that do like one-on-one calls on a regular basis.
Wow.
And that's something when you can get on with a Jewel, just you and them, and say what your goals are, and they help you reach your goals. And yeah, we're all about team building.
Yeah, and when I hear that, I mean, sometimes just honestly, because our uplines are humans, they're able to support us, and then sometimes out of their humanness, they're just not able to. But what it makes me think about is I can do that, as long as God blesses me to have my health, my mental health, my physical health. I can be that for my downline. So, rather than grieving maybe something I don't have, I can just turn around and say, well, let me be that for my downline. And duplication is one of the mysteries of this business to solve. Is like, okay, I can recruit all day long, but how do we duplicate? How do we help our team, the ones we have sponsored, decide to share with one friend and then 3 friends and then keep going from there? So I think that what you're sharing here, Darren, about your upline jewels being available one on one, like 5 of them out of your team, and we Ignite team right here, we come from a lot of jewels. We're under Amber Miller, Lori Bradford, Shoshana Easling, Jessica Ridenauer is our sapphire. James Easling is one of our diamonds as well, one of our active diamonds that hops on a team call. So uh, we are very blessed and really should reach out to them and ask them for help. I think that sometimes they just don't know when we need help or who needs help. Imagine having a big team under you and trying to figure that out. Literally,
Yeah,
we have to ask. We have to reach out and say, hey, I want to grow. Will you help me?
yeah, and we're to that point now where we're kind of taking a little bit of that burden off of them, and we're running our own team, having our own little team calls
Good.
and encouragement. And my wife is actually reaching out, being mentored by other people. You mentioned Anthem, she's in the Anthem group.
Awesome.
And so she's really really wanting to, like I mentioned about making God your CEO.
Yes.
She's really wanting to develop this as a Christian holistic, let's get you away from modern medicine kind of business.
Yeah, I mean, God is at the center for us on Ignite Team, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. I'm just going to say it that plain. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God being at the center. So I'm so excited for y'all to have gotten baptized together, met Kyle and Matt, and also I think you said your wife went on a retreat with Cassie
Yeah.
Howard, who works closely with Kyle and Cassie Rainey. So, Well, it's time for us to end our call. Thank you so much for being on tonight, Darren,
You're
sharing
welcome.
with
You're
us.
welcome.
We feel so honored and we are cheering you on. Can't wait to see your pictures of your Silver Star trip coming up soon.
Yeah, you'll have to you'll have to contact me sometime in February, or I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe March if we got, but
I'd
and
love for you to come back on and share
I'll
about
give
it.
you all the scoop, and I'll be glad to share anything I find out. I've already started a list of questions for Dr. Hartman and and a couple for Tarl. So
Oh,
yeah,
that is so
they're
Congratulations
gonna
on earning that trip. Let me tell you, that's
yeah
a big deal. That is a big deal. So just congratulations on earning that trip. That's
yes,
just so
yeah
impressive.
yeah
yes.
we're
And don't
we're in
forget that when you get to be a senior gold now, they give you $750 to fly out to
yeah
Plex to do gold school out there. So like that is a new thing. And so don't forget that you
Senior
have that
gold.
too. But that's
Senior
not the
gold
trip we're
flyaway.
talking about. This
Yes,
is another one that he earned that is just like so cool. I'm so like just thrilled for you.
yes, blown
yeah
away.
and they give they give Silver Star to up to three people nationwide every month,
Mhm.
and I was the only one in September that earned it.
Wow. With the
And
double
my
earning,
wife, all my
double
wife needed
points.
was she needed one level one silver. She needed two people that could have added two people, and she would have earned Silver Star.
Wow. Y'all almost
And
double earned it.
yeah, and
But
that would
that's
have been
okay. We
awesome.
get her going the next time, and so she can go with you, and then you can go back with her, and you can bring us all the more information.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Thank
Love
you
you
so
guys.
Good
much.
night, y'all. God
Good night.
bless.
Good night, John boy.